Hey, before we get into this video, please note that this will spoil things that happen in Chapter 3 and the rankings of all the heroes that I've already covered in this series. If you don't want that, consider throwing this in your watch later folder so you can come back when you're ready. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Welcome back to Ranking Every Hero, the series where I'm, well, ranking every hero. I'm here to create the best tier list in the community, so objectively, I have the best opinion and no one will disagree with me. Alright, let's get started. Okay, if you haven't watched any other videos in the series, I'll be ranking each criteria, which are character, quest, and class, out of 5, and then averaging out all 3 of those scores to get a final score. Based on what score they get, they'll be put on a certain tier on the tier list, which I have put the criteria for on screen. Okay, rule explaining done, let's actually get started. Let's start with character. This is judged based on the character themselves, like their personality, character design, etc. Valdi is the first hero you can actually keep on your team. Sorry, Ethel. As such, it is important to get a good first impression. And well, Valdi is the perfect first impression. His character is predicated on the assumption that since he is known as the best mechanic in all of Kevis, he must be a tough, mean person. But rather, he is one of the most innocent and sweetest characters in the entire game. He's also one of the youngest characters you encounter, being a 6th termer, much younger than a commander of a colony usually is. His character growth is something that I enjoyed seeing from him throughout the time I spent doing his storyline, as he turns from someone who is just reluctantly following a consul's orders to standing up for his beliefs, which is that he wants to build Levnesses to help and protect people, not to just kill people so he can protect those that he cares about. His Levness obsession is also something that the main cast will occasionally poke fun at, and it's a fun character trait he has. He's always thinking about the next Levness he'll build. His obsession isn't intended to be harmful, he just wants to build them to help his friends and those around Ionios. His character design is quite unique, as although there are a lot of Machina characters in the game, Valdi stands out because of his short stature comparatively. He doesn't have the height or strength of many other Machina in this game, making him unique and noticeable among the other Machina in the game. He also has this backpack thing on his back. I'm not quite sure what exactly it is used for, but it's likely for something about Levnesses, like spare parts or tools, which ties back to his character. So overall, a great character, 4.25 out of 5. Quests are related on how well they tell the character's story, and how fun they are. Since Valdi is the commander of a colony, I will count all the quests related to Colony 30. Unfortunately for Colony 30, a lot of the quests relate to building up the huge Levness that Valdi was creating for the console. There are a total of 10 fetch quests for this thing, and it keeps getting progressively harder to get the items as you go along. You pause building it a few times, including where you have to go and do Alexandria's questline in Iota for some reason. Luckily, not all of the quests are fetch related, and they involve mostly trying to get the Nopon to reel themselves in and not be stupid. However, the quest that follows the Nopon trying to learn the Offseer flute melody so they can properly send off their friend is a touching one, and one I remember pretty vividly. Where the quests do stand out though is the initial hero quest you get for Valdi, and the Ascension quest. The initial quest is likely the first hero quest besides for Ethel many players got, and it does show how evil Mobius can be sometimes, forcing Valdi to make Levnesses to kill others, when that isn't his dream at all. He wants to protect and help people, which is why he makes Mechafriend, which then saves his life later on, fulfilling his wish, to even rebuild Mechafriend after he breaks from saving Valdi. The Ascension quest is also a good one that shows to a greater extent what Valdi wants to achieve. He wants to achieve peace among all the colonies, and although he was put in a difficult scenario just like those flowers, he thrived in that environment and wants to continue to thrive so he can achieve his dream. Unfortunately, due to him sometimes being a little too carefree and optimistic about people, it creates a lot of extra work for Yuzette, his second in command, which leads Yuzette to sometimes being a little short with him. But just like Izzard said, we have to take a look at the full picture on these things. And although it may look wrong by looking at just one example, we cannot truly say it is bad unless we look at the full picture. Overall, the fetch quests kind of bring this down, but the initial and Ascension quests are pretty good for what they're worth. 3 out of 5. For class, I rated on how fun and useful the class is. Pretty simple. War Medic is likely the first class you will get besides for Flash Fencer in the game, and having an early game healer is actually pretty useful. Valdi is intentionally put here because the next major boss you fight is Izzard in his Furanis, which uses his very niche heroic chain ability of increasing his TP by 50 when fighting machines. However, Valdi kind of fell off for me the later I went to the game, as I opted to run 3 defenders on my team rather than 3 healers. However, even if Valdi falls off for you, 3 of his 4 skills are actually really good, and if used on your primary hero like Uni, are incredibly useful. He has Recovery Engine, boosting his own healing power by removing debuffs, Rescue License, which increases the amount of HP an ally gets after getting revived, and Healing License, which boosts the amount of HP healed from healing arts. Healing License is the most useful of the 3 in my opinion, since it is generally applicable anywhere, while the other 2 are more situational, but thrive in those situations. There are a few healer classes in the game, and although this technically isn't the best healer class, it's the best class at healing your allies without any other abilities from other classes, and most of the skills can be applied regardless of what healer class you run, as long as you have a healing art. So overall, I'd rate this class a 3.75 out of 5. By averaging out all the scores we get, a 3.7 for Valdi. That's enough to put him in A tier. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. It's free and it helps support the channel a lot. If you have a suggestion on what hero I should cover next, consider leaving it in the comments below. I read every comment, even the 2,000-word essay ones. But with that, thank you all so much for watching once again, and have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are. And this is Crystalized, signing out.